right, so hello. Before we get into the main event, the video itself, I wanted to give a brief making of presentation. I think that making this video has been very interesting. It really gets into like what money is from like a language perspective, and that's like one of the things I don't think gets highlighted when you're actually watching the video itself, because you're more just getting nauseated by the sheer amount of it. So I just wanted to go over the process of going from this archive of Mr. Beast videos into the what I guess I've been calling an experimental film that you are going to see before you in just a bit. So first, a bit about who I am. My name is Maury Coleman. I also make art online as WTTDOTM. That's an acronym for Welcome to the Desert of the Meme, which was the first meme page I made back in college. And I make a lot of work around images that we share on the internet, things that go viral, what virality is, what content is, what constitutes those two things. This thing, Mr. Beast saying increasingly large amounts of money, mouthful, I know, started out as a project that I did at this place called the School for Product Computation. And it was a class called Infinite Video taught by the artist Sam Levine. First of all, amazing artist. The class was all about how to interact with large archives of video through code. And so the original version of this video was made back in 2023. It was 3 minutes long, and it only used about 16 total source videos. Now, it is an hour long. It has 280 source videos, and there are over 2,900 clips for an average clip length of about 1.3 to 1.5 seconds per clip. So that begs the question, how do you scale that? How do you get to that amount? That's what this is about. So first, let's talk about what exactly is Mr. Beast saying increasingly large amounts of money. Which that is now that long acronym. I've typed it out so many times that I put in a shortcut on my computer on my iPhone. So when I type that acronym, it expands. So the video is a distillation of a subset of videos from Mr. Beast's channel into clips of specific mentions of dollar amounts in ascending order. And before we talk a little bit more about that, just to give you an idea about why I wanted to make this, it's covered a little bit more in the kind of statement that goes along with the piece in Reboot, but I am not the biggest fan of Mr. Beast, but I think he's fascinating. The fact that 4% of the world is subscribed to him is crazy to me, and especially interesting to me is that he tries to keep himself extremely apolitical. The thing about that, though, is that when more people than live in America are subscribed to you online, you kind of get the politics for free. And what I really want to kind of bring into light here is that no matter if he's donating money to food banks or spending money on fireworks or hanging money over a lava pit or spending it on golden pizza, pretty much all of which happened sometime in this video. There is no philanthropy in Mr. Beast. There's no ulterior motive. Well, there are many ulterior motives, but there's all money spent, no matter the target, whether it's for good, for bad, for pure consumption. They're all morally equivalent to him. They're just ways to purchase more attention, and that is hard to convey in the form of a paragraph or in the form of an essay, right? Because it's something you have to feel, and most people that are reading critiques of Mr. Beast are probably not really watching him, and the people that are watching him aren't reading the critiques, right? And so I wanted to put these two things in stark relief and not have to write anything, rather to show it. So, like we said, this is a video that is a bunch of clips from a subset of videos ordered in ascending order. So how do we get there, right? We have hundreds of videos on YouTube. We want one video with thousands of those clips. And you might think, all right, that's pretty simple, right? All we have to do is go grab each video, find out where the mentions of dollars are, log the dollar amount, clip it, and then sort them. Pretty simple. Wrong. Instead, we have to take the video, convert it to text, convert that text to a clip, convert that clip to audio, retranscribe that video, get the number off that video, clip it again 3 more times, and then we get this. So why? What are all these things? What's this step-by-step process? And why do we need it, right? Well, the reason we need it is because processing natural language is hard. We're starting with our source material is videos, right? And they're videos from YouTube. They are combinations of visual, audio, and text data. And we're going to use all of them to make this end result. So first of all, let's go step by step, right? Let's define our subset of videos that we're going to start working with. And what I want to do is, I didn't really want to boil the ocean here. Mr. Beast has, I think, over 800 or 900 videos, and he's had a very long career. I wanted to make sure that we set like a reasonable place to start looking at his kind of canon of content that didn't bite off more than we needed to chew and included the important parts that we're trying to look at, right? So I decided to choose to analyze all videos with official transcripts for a couple of reasons. One, it gives us a certain level of ground truth about where dollars are mentioned in videos, right? The interesting thing about Mr. Beast is that he uploads, or back in 2018, he started uploading like manual subtitles like that he and his team himself wrote for each video. And that means that these are videos that the team themselves has said, like, these are the words that are said, which is helpful for me because that means that I don't have to worry about, like, you know, mislogging if a dollar is mentioned in a specific part or not. The second thing that this provides for us is it does provide us a nice little, like, kind of cleaving point for when Mr. Beast starts to, like, really take algorithmic optimization seriously. And the reason for that is, like, back in 2018, he only has like 5 million subscribers. Now he has over, you know, again, like 300 million. And one of the main things he does is he, you know, translates all of his videos. He makes sure all of his videos have subtitles. He optimizes his thumbnails. This act, the act of uploading manual subtitles, is a great kind of marker point for one more action and one more optimization that the team takes. It also means that we want to analyze a little under 300 videos rather than, you know, over 800 or 900. So the next step is download every single one of the videos and their subtitles. And so this is that size, folder size of 21 gigs is a little bit inflated, but also something to note is that all of those videos are only 360p. At least for the data processing pipeline. The reason they're so it's on one hand it's small, on the other hand it's obviously, you know, 21 gigs of 360p videos is pretty massive. And I download them all into folders like this. Each folder will have the video ID of the video, the MP4 of the video, the transcript in a JSON file, and these are rough clips that I cut afterwards, and we'll get into those in a second. So once we have all the videos, we need to use the subtitles to find these mentions of dollars, right? And this is like the first part where we really start to see what the main problem of this entire task is. So for every transcript, I go through and I look at each line, and each line has like a start date, a start time, and a duration, so like where in the video it starts and how long it goes on for. And then it has like a little thing here, like, you know, it says, and hundreds of thousands of dollars, or and $26,000 car. And so why are these so rough? Why are they not word level? Well, because they're subtitles, right? They're not supposed to be transcripts specifically, they are just like, you know, at this point in the video, show this below the video. Now the other thing, this is where the entire project gets kind of tricky, is look at this, right? The problem that we're going to spend the next, you know, 10 or 15 minutes dealing with is that these are two different amounts of money, and they are spelled and expressed completely differently, right? This says hundreds of thousands of dollars. This says, you know, $2600. And this is a huge problem when what you're trying to do is figure out a way to organize, standardize, and order different amounts of money that are said in a video. So think about it this way. How many ways I can say the words $500,000? How many ways could you express that in language? You can say all of these. 500K, $500,000 spelled out. You can, or as a number, 500 grand, $500,000, $500,000, $500,000, or $500,000. And this happens all the time in the data. I mean, look at this, right? The $700,000 has a dollar sign and a number. $250,000 is a spelled out fraction of a number. the $10 million has a dollar sign and then a number and then a spelled out million. $2.5 million is spelled out, has a number and has no dollar sign. $100,000 is two numbers that could be, 100 and 1,000, their own numbers next to each other to combine to mean $100,000. It's, it's too much to deal with. In the original version of this project, the first script I made back in 2023 was just filled with all this really hectic kind of edge case logic, trying to deal with all of this crap. So we need a way to standardize all of this. To think about this, let's categorize our open questions. So we have a bunch of rough clips, right? We were able to take we were able to look at the transcripts and find where dollars were mentioned, and we were able to take those, line by line clips. So we have those clips that mention amounts of money, and now we need to find out exactly where a specific mention of money starts and ends. So where the $5 in $500,000 starts, and where the dollars in $500,000 ends. And also how to know what that amount of money is. And a lot of people, when they hear about this, are like, what if you just used AI, right? Like that seems like a task that AI should be able to do. And it's interesting because, first of all, I do, but it's not as simple as you think. So first of all, AI timestamping tends to be pretty inaccurate. Or it costs a lot of money, and that's something I don't have the time or budget for. And also, the ironic thing about AI is when we're using it for transcripts, they're trained to transcribe things into natural language, and the entire problem that we're running into is that natural language sucks for any kind of standardization of data, right? And so I think a good example of this is here, right? So I want to ask you a question. Where is the word dollars in $250 million private island? This is a dollar sign. How does the dollar sign have a timestamp, and how does it have a timestamp before the number, right? And so this is Whisper, right? This is OpenAI's open source transcription tool. It's basically it's pretty close to state of the art, and yet because it thinks about how to tokenize language into kind of natural representations of it. It wants to put $250 million, and that leads to you get a lot of mistimed things. So this is, if we were to start with the beginning of this at 0.78 or whatever, or at 640, and then go to at the end of million, this is what we'd get.
Day 250 million.
So we get cut off, a little towards the end of million. We don't hear dollars. That's not what we want, right? And it also causes kind of just a little bit of a timing problem. It's not going to sound good, and we need, when we're doing 2,800 clips of these in a row, those mistakes add up quickly. So this is my favorite part of it all, which is what we need to do to make this transcription work better. And the question is, how do you transcribe natural language unnaturally? And the answer is really funny. It's you take away the AI model's ability to express numbers and symbols. And so I was racking my brain for weeks trying to figure out the solution to this problem. And it turns out deep in my GitHub issues, I thank this guy. This is me being like, yo, that's a simple and goated patch. Basically, this is called token suppression. And you can see up there, you get a bunch of, you get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And then, the percent symbol, the dollar symbol, the euro. Mr. Beast never says an amount of euros. But it basically says, hey, if we recompile the model with this extra bit of script in there, it can no longer output those symbols. So it can't output numbers, and it can't output the dollar symbol. And so you get this, where we just won $20,000. And this way, dollars is an actual word with an actual timestamp in a place that makes sense, right? And so by doing that, the ironic thing is we actually standardize our outputs really nicely, because suddenly there's only one real way to write out $500,000, and it's like this. And we can look for 5, and we can look for dollars, and that's much easier for it. And so what's really ironic about it is that the most reliable way to parse audio into numbers is to turn it into pure language first and not have anything to do with numbers, so that we can then take the language and do our own analysis on it. And so after that, there's some more cleaning. You can kind of see, this is just like a screenshot of my process. I was trying to figure out like how well I could get like, identify where the dollars were. So, we have $10,000, $1,000, $500,000. Here we have a problem where I look for the first number and I say see 50. And then it goes all the way to $10,000. So the logic that I was using to try go through each clip and figure out where the dollar started and ended required a lot of tweaking. There's a lot of random edge cases, but at the end, I was able to get a pretty good approximation for each clip of where each dollar amount started and ended. And so, all this work gives us better timestamps. And then we get to here, right? Now that we have the number, we're able to parse it off of the clip, and we have where it starts and ends, so we're able to make this clip automatically. And you might think we're done, but we're not, because we still have to manually retime them twice. Why? Well, first of all, some of the clips are still noticeably off, right? The way that just with how good the detection is, it gets pretty good within maybe 200, 300 milliseconds, but still it can start, if you're saying $100 million, it might start a quarter second after you start saying 100, so it might say $100 million or something like that, and that sounds bad. And so I had to manually retime them. And the other thing, and this is just to show you what you're looking at, this is the detected start and end times of the exact start is the detected start, the checked start is the then fixed one, and this is the difference. And so you can see there are tons of clips where they get moved backward and forward, their start and ends get moved backward and forward, either a third of a second, a tenth of a second, almost an entire second, one way or the other. And the other thing is that there's a lot of clips that have really great context that I want to include, right? The rule of everything in this video should only be a specific mention of a dollar amount is a good rule to follow. It's also good to know when to break, because there are some amazing moments in this video where there's just a little bit more flavor and you realize, and it just gives, I think, certain clips a lot more context. So two of my favorite ones I wanted to show you here that you would miss if you were only going by pure dollar amount are here.
It costs $400, which is a lot.
I just love saying $400, which is a lot, especially in the context of this next clip where they're talking about the cost of the fireworks that they're blowing up.
That was $10,000 a second of flashing light.
And so in the first one, you'd only get $400. In the second one, you would only get $10,000. But instead, by going through and manually making sure to keep certain parts, I was able to say hey, this is an acknowledgement of how much a certain amount of money is, $400, and then an acknowledgement of how wasteful this other amount of money, $10,000 is. And so I wanted to keep that in there. So I had to manually go and re-clip the entire thing, which was, it did give me a wrist injury. I will admit, I had Claude build me a little Python interface where I could use ASDF and HJKL to move the starts and ends of different clips forward and backward by I think it was 50 and then 300 milliseconds each or something like that. But even then, here's the thing, even then that's not enough, right? So this is me doing this. Most of this was done on a plane and then on some other places. But then I had to do it again. Because I had to import all those clips into Premiere. And first of all, I was a CapCut guy for a while, and then I tried to throw 2,900 clips at CapCut and it crashed immediately. And I threw them into Premiere, and Premiere was we got it, let's go, we're ready. I even set up some keyboard shortcuts like these over here to make my life a little bit easier. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. So I had to bring them all to Premiere. And even with the extra time that I had done in the first round, once I imported all of them, I realized some of them start with 3 frames of a different clip in the beginning, or there's a cut that happens, and that just felt to me really jarring when I put it all together. And so I wanted to make sure that the viewer didn't find it jarring. So There's one solution to do that, and that's how you have to go through them one by one. And then we had to do it one more time. I had to do it one more time. This is my note to myself of like where each clip that had volume too high or too low. And you might think this is a lot of clips. This is like maybe a fraction of them. But I had to go through each one of these later on, go to each timestamp and make sure that the volume was a little bit more normalized. And yes, Premiere does have a volume normalization function. It doesn't work at the scale of 2,900 clips, as I found out. And so again, the only way to do it is manually. And so this is my time lapse of, this was the day before the video went live. You can see, you can watch my clock on the top right slowly go later and later. And it was definitely a labor of love, and also just like with the sheer, I love a deadline because it makes me get things done. And I had already pushed it back a couple times. But you will see this number does not stop going up until like I start writing the actual statement for the piece. But yeah, I mean, this is, this is what had to happen. And there we go. There we go, something completely different. So to recap the entire process.
Did you order food? Like what?
I don't remember. To recap the entire process, we take the Mr. Beast videos. We use the subtitles to find which Mr. Beast videos have mentions of money and where those clips are. We clip those parts. We convert those parts into audio so that we can run and we can transcribe them. And we transcribe them with a partially kneecapped AI that can only write words, not numbers or symbols. We then use the timestamps of those transcriptions to get better time clips. We generate those clips. We edit those clips manually to fix up their individual timing. We adjust the clips manually again to make sure there are no weird cuts or anything. And then we adjust the clips one last time to make sure all their volume is normalized. And then, finally, we have the video. And that's it. Very simple. So, with all that said, and without further ado, allow me to present, as soon as I find where it is. Perfect. Allow me to present Mr. Beast saying increasingly large amounts of money.
One of the things that I was really impressed by when I started looking into you after my daughter introduced me is that you invest so much money into the show.
Money I make. I don't. Why do I need money?
So you don't like go crazy? You don't have a Ferrari or anything nuts?
No. I think living your life chasing like a nicer and nicer car and a bigger and bigger box to live in is kind of like a dumb way to go about life.
Put $0 in all of them. This side is $0.